So this is our 2011 annual report, and probably the first thing out you folks are going to say, well, what happened to Mason 5? Well, we're still Mason 5, but we're also changed our name to Central Mason Fire and EMS. So we're doing business as also Central Mason Fire and EMS. If you look there on the front, you can kind of see that we kind of changed. One of the things we did was we worked on a new mission. You know, it's kind of like Dave O'Leary works on his missions and visions. We did the same thing. We went ahead and changed our mission, and we kind of looked at that. Also, as you go through here, you'll kind of, I'm just going to kind of go through some highlights as we go through there. It's just some introductions of our administration. Also talks about, if you turn to one page to page 3, you'll kind of see what we talked about, where we've got levels of service statement and also the vision. And the vision was actually developed by our career staff. And we had one of those little fancy dancy retreats that we're all aware of. And we had a retreat and went through there and picked out our visions. And so that's kind of our vision as we get there. What's currently being accomplished throughout the staff is working on goals and objectives to meet the vision as you would anything else. So this is kind of what we're working on. We built a strategic plan, and it's actually, we made it a 2012 strategic plan, but it looks like it's been more of a 2012-2013 strategic plan as we get through there. There's some overview about the population. Obviously, the front half of this is really geared towards Central Mason Fire and EMS, and as we get through here, you'll see where we also have included the city of Shelton members in there as well. Just covered a lot of our profile, the moves. Obviously, if you haven't heard, our headquarters has now been relocated downtown here to a beautiful facility, and I know I encourage any of the commission to come over and come to any of the city folks. And you've had several meetings over there as well. Please come on over and join us over there, and we'll go through there. There's some budget and expenditures for 2011, so you can certainly take a peek at those, and those are just some projected numbers and where we think things are going to go. As well, you can kind of see that our total incidences, including this area here, was 4295, and these are 2011. This is the 2011 report when we get through there. There's some grant history, and if you recently heard, not only did we get a new bunker gear grant, which would be some new turnout gear, we also just recently received an award for some new light pack defibrillators, and that's really exciting for light pack defibrillators. So it's exciting to get 5 more of those and put those on board. Currently, the fire station here, even though we're running an engine out of here, is running an engine and a medic combination, and that's what one of the goals is. We're about 99% of the time there's a medic on board, and he carries the same life here that our medic units carry as well. Page 12 talks about, and this one, real quickly so you get an idea where the areas are, so you kind of know each, and we've also put a name to that. And I know when we met with the mayor, with Mayor Krantz, there's a couple things the mayor's like, okay, so tell me where area, where Alan and Victor and area 2. And so that just kind of gives you an idea where our areas are, and you can see our total number of calls there for 3827. And then the zones where we've also gone out and helped our neighbors, and we've gone out and helped our neighbors 468 times. And you kind of get an idea of where all those are right together. We do medical transports as well, so that page also shared with you 1021 for 2011. As you turn, you kind of get through there, and you see that we're 1021. So you kind of there. As you turn the page there, you see. So if you're interested in what stays in the county hospital-wise, of those 1,038, 764 of them actually transported to Mason General. That means you're staying right here in Mason County. And so of those 1,038, 764 were right here in Mason County. And the other ones are going to Harrison. That would be our north end calls as well. So that's great news. The more we can keep here in county, we like to do that. Besides that is our training hours of all of our personnel, and for a total of 5,084 and 50. Can you believe it? 5,084 and 50. That's quite a few training hours. So they're certainly doing lots and lots and lots of training. As you turn to the organizational chart, I know that's kind of a biggie, and I know the mayor was very interested when he came on board was, hey, how does the organizational chart work at Central Mason? And so we put together our organizational chart, both the volunteer side and the career side as well, so you can get an idea of where we're going to go with those numbers there. A little map of the district, and a little briefing on the strategic plan that I told you about, which were the 4 key points. You know, change can happen, anticipate change, monitoring change, and adapt to change. And so obviously we're focusing on some new vision and goals as we get there, and so you can get an idea what a strategic plan is all about. And that last page is on page, basically it says addendum 2 and 3, and that's the city numbers that are in there. And those are the ones I want to focus on a little bit tonight, so you kind of get an idea of where we're focusing on. Is obviously in 2009 we were at 2211, in 2011 we're at 2071. And what we've discovered, and I meet with the mayor and the city manager every 2 weeks, very faithfully we meet, and we touched bases, and where we found our call line decrease was more in, if you can see that, was more in the rescue and the EMS calls. And what we've discovered is people just are, they're, one, getting educated, or they're not just calling 911 for emergency calls or emergency responses. So you can kind of see an idea where those are down as well. Average response times, 5.77 up to 6.12. That's just a guide. It's simply a guide to look at. We talked about that already. The number fluctuates up and down, roughly right around between 5 and 6 minutes is our average response times here in the city. When it says medical responses, those are actually transports that we're actually doing in the city. And you folks, the mayor, we've asked to kind of track that, so we're doing that as well. So we're at 102 that we're tracking along. So you kind of see where we're at. We're at 2,071. I can tell you for 2012, in the first 3.5 months or so, we're tracking pretty even. And I can tell you we're probably going to say for about the same thing for the city, be about 2,071. It's very consistent. Over the last 5 to 10 years, it's been pretty consistent, 4,200 calls, and it's been pretty, it's very consistent with where we're going to go with those. Again, you can see of the 102 transports in 2011, 76 were from Mason General.